And we're back! What's up, everybody? It's Josh Potter, once again doing the Josh Potter Show. Thank you so much for joining, and we've got live dates to promote, friend. You can see me around and about. I'm going to be back in San Diego at American Comedy Company May 6th through 8th, and then shortly thereafter in Omaha, May 13th at the Omaha Funny Bone. June 9th, going to be at the Tampa Improv. June 10th, the Orlando Improv. So these are the dates that you can buy tickets to come see me, and you can find them all on my Twitter at @J_Potter or my Instagram at Josh_Potter. Just click the link tree and you'll be all set. And there you'll find links to the merch, which is up at store.ymhstudios.com. You can find links to the Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Josh_Potter. And yeah, everything's up there. And you'll also be able to subscribe to the new YouTube channel, which I thank you if you've already subscribed. We're just a hair below 25,000 of you signing up for that, and there's nothing even on it yet. So thank you for doing that. And we've got one more week here, and starting next week, we will be on that new YouTube channel. So please to be subscribing if you want to continue to watch the program, because otherwise it's not going to populate in your little thingy-majiggy, as I'm told. So yeah, and I wanted to address that a little bit, because here's the thing. I didn't think it mattered to address, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't think I had to bring it up or talk about it at all. I just thought, yeah, we're moving to a new YouTube channel. It's going to look different. Things will be a little different. People won't care, but there's gossip people out there and things like that, you know? And I just found out over the weekend, I was in Denver. Thank you to Denver, the city, for having me. I took a vacation and had a glorious time. But in the hotel bar, it was wild. 3 separate people came up to me in the hotel bar over the course of the weekend, and were very friendly. Roaches. Very friendly roaches. And they were concerned. And I was like, oh, people are concerned. There's nothing bad that's happening here, folks. It's all very nice and cordial, and there's no bad blood in any situation. And I don't like that I have to even say that. That's stupid, but there isn't any at all. So, in fact, you'll probably see me back in the studio in a couple of days for a little something. I'm going to keep that a secret, though, winky face. So it's all very exciting, and it's all very fine and good. Things are going to look different. They may even sound different. They're going to feel different. The only thing that's not going to be different, and the most important thing that's not going to be different, is you and I. We will both be here. Queefs will still be here. John Otto will still be here. So we're all good, baby. So please to be subscribing to the new YouTube channel. The show will come out at the same time. We'll still have the same crying girl at the beginning, and we'll still have Queefs, and we'll still have, most importantly, as I mentioned, you and I, hopefully, if you return on the new YouTube channel. So that is all the plugs, getting them out of the way. We have a new episode here for you that I'm excited for. A brand new game is going to be coming up in a little bit. Ennie is back. How are you, Ennie? You feeling better?
I'm good, man. I'm gonna miss you, but I'm good. I'm glad we could do one more show together. I was sick last week. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and we got to meet Ashawn last week, who is going to be handling things moving forward, and that was very cool. So it gave us a little time to introduce ourselves to Ashawn. So that was nice.
Yeah, he's my homie, man. He'll take care of you.
Awesome. Yeah, people are excited and I think relieved to learn that you guys know each other in some capacity. I don't know why. They're like, oh, phew.
Oh, man. All right, cool. So one more black person doesn't know anything about sports.
They're very excited about that fact that I found another one.
He knows more about pop culture than I do, though. I'm afraid.
So then I'll be able to ask him some questions and things, hopefully, and he'll be able to answer them when I am obtuse to things in the pop culture world, because I am, certainly. We'll get to a few of them today that I don't understand about at all. The Nice Boy Clock. I don't know if I'm going to ditch the Nice Boy Clock when I move along. I think it'll probably be best that I keep it.
I agree with that. I don't think, let me tell you, I didn't like getting those phone calls from YouTube. I don't think Ashawn will like getting those phone calls either.
They called you on the phone?
They let us know, man.
Oh boy!
They let us know that we don't approve.
Well, I'm scared
of these things that you're putting out. Look, man, you said ISIS was good. Okay, we went in.
I mean, I did say I just thumbs up them for their diversity.
Yeah, that's saying that they're good. That's just what I said, except you made it sound trivial. No, you're promoting them.
I'm not promoting them. I'm just saying they're a little more diverse than we gave them credit for. That's all. And while I was in Denver, I had a glorious time. I went to not one but two Rockies games. I'm wearing the Rockies hat at the moment. It was enjoyable. I watched Jacob deGrom pitch, which was unbelievable to see that in person. He almost made history. Almost got 10 strikeouts in a row, which was crazy. But yeah, I had a great time. And I watched. Now, throughout the weekend, I got fucked up. I'm going to put that out there. I don't mind. I did. I got obliterated. So on the final day, what was it, Monday? Sunday night, I'll say this. I wasn't planning on getting wrecked on Sunday night. And lo and behold, it happened. And the woman I was with, she had to work the next day, but she got a little, out of sorts as well. And we woke up first we ordered McDonald's, which I didn't choose that. That wasn't my decision to order McDonald's, like a smorgasbord of McDonald's. I was just along for the ride. And we ate it. And then the next morning we woke up and both of us were violently ill. Unbelievably ill, to the point of she was puking, I was shitting my brains out. I mean, it was off the rails. So she called into work. I changed my flight. I booked the hotel room for another night. We just stayed in bed the whole time, just ill. And we watched the Derek Chauvin closing arguments.
Oh, boy.
So I'll never forget my moment of watching the closing arguments of such a historical case while absolutely hungover and violently ill. But hey, look at that. I mean, I got to watch it, and I don't know did I give you an article for this part? There was a part during that defense thing, and I thought I was just ill and hallucinating things, where the defense brought up space aliens inhabiting Derek Chauvin's body and taking it over and making him do violent acts.
No. That was a part of the article that you sent me. It was the defense was saying that you have to be proven beyond all reasonable doubt.
Here it is. And the burden of proof.
His example for something that is beyond reasonable doubt is something like that, where an alien were to have...
Well, I half heard it, and I'm sure the jury half heard it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just sitting there and going is he talking about space aliens? This man's future is in the hands of a gentleman talking about space aliens coming down? Such a wild thing, but here we are. Yeah, space aliens flew in and inhabited the body of Derek Chauvin and caused this death. That's fanciful. I don't understand what point he was trying to make.
What he's saying is, essentially, he had to make... So his claim was that it could have been, the CO2 from the exhaust. It could have been... whatever that he was saying was ridiculous claims. So what he had to do is up it 1,000 times and say, no, this is ridiculous. Saying that aliens took over his body.
Oh,
now that's
fanciful.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is it was the exhaust pipe fumes. I mean, that's sensible, right? No, it's not. It's just as ridiculous.
It's still wild to me. I couldn't wrap my little tiny brain around it, and it distracted me for days. But I came home on Tuesday. And the verdict came down, and I was relieved, obviously, like much of the country, I'm sure. And I actually got a laugh out of the Korean guy who runs the bodega near my house. I went there, and he was watching. I went there to go buy a beer, and I was on my live stream. It was big 420 live stream for your boy, doing Major League Baseball, the show, having a blast. And during the middle of it, I needed to go do a beer run, as I often do on my live streams. So I run to the corner. I have the people in the stream guess if I'm going to come back at a certain time. And they all bet over under 4 minutes or something like that. What was it? 4 minutes and 45 seconds?
You had 4 minutes and 45 seconds.
That was the over under.
Yes.
Yeah, and he didn't know what the over under. He's like, what the fuck are you all talking about?
I had no idea.
He doesn't gamble.
Over and under, and you had me do a poll. I'm like, what are we doing? What is sports, man?
Yeah, so we did it over under 4 minutes and 45 seconds. I hit the under because I'm fast.
You were way under. You were 3 minutes and I think 30 seconds.
Yeah, it was
35.
quick. And during all of this, I thought I was going to get slowed down by the Korean man who runs the bodega, because he was watching the verdict come in, or watching the coverage of it. So he's watching it, and he's kind of cashing me out. He's trying to put the credit card in without looking, kind of thing. He's missing. And I'm like, we're on the clock, brah. So I made a joke to him. I go, because he was found guilty, of course. And I said to him, I go, hey, you don't have to lock up early now. And he was like, huh? I go, you don't have to lock up early now. And he laughed so hard. I've never seen emotion out of this man before. And he laughed so hard at that. And it was a glowing moment. It was like kind of a moment where it's like, oh, look, we're going to be all right. We're going to be just fine.
It's dirty time.
And then it's the end of the nice boy clock indeed. Let's get into the news, shall we? As I missed the fucking button. Thank you to Jacob Goodwin for that bad boy right there. And Griff was the intro music, by the way, in case you were wondering. Griff, thank you for that. But thank you to Jacob Goodwin for that little news remix. And while we're on the subject of race and things like that, of course, one of the byproducts of last summer's civil unrest, if you will, was the fact that people were tearing down all of the Confederate statues and monuments. That was a big thing that was going on. And I always was wondering, what do we do with them? Where do we put these things? Do they belong in a museum? I don't know. You know, should we... I don't think they belong in a square where people gather and have their lunch, but should we put them someplace where we can look to them and be like, this was wrong or this was bad or something like that? I don't know. Some people in Alabama had an idea of what to do with them. They were just keeping them because they liked them. I mean, I think if you're going to do something with them, let the people who like them have them, and then we could be like, there's a racist. You know, because they have a thing of Jefferson Davis in their home. That's what these people did. They stole Jefferson Davis's chair from Alabama. 2 people accused in a bizarre ransom plot that involved a threat to turn an Alabama Confederate monument into a toilet. Oh, so they don't like it. They were going to shit in it and stuff. That's cool. They were arrested in New Orleans, and police said Friday they are searching for a third suspect. Jason Warnick and Catherine Diono were booked with possessing stolen property after the Jefferson Davis Memorial chair was recovered Thursday in the Upper Ninth Ward. The ornately carved 500-pound stone relic was stolen last month from a cemetery in Selma, Alabama. Prosecutors estimate its value at $500,000. So it still has like monetary value. Where are we putting these things then if they are so worth money? That's the thing that's so wild. And how do you steal something that's 500 pounds? As of Friday afternoon, 34-year-old Stanley Pate was still wanted in the case, the latest in a nationwide wave of activist actions against memorials. So these are actually activists. I thought it was people who enjoy Jefferson Davis, like fans of him, being like, I want that chair in my house. But it's not. It's actually activism. They're going to turn it into a toilet. Such monuments have come under increasing attack. We know this. New Orleans police said Friday they have returned the Davis chair to its owner. So someone owns this, an Alabama chapter of the United Daughters of the Confederacy. That's an organization in which we are giving back property to. Seems strange. Seems like something that should probably be disbanded. Davis, who enslaved dozens of people before the Civil War, was a sole president of the Confederacy. Yes, indeed, a little history there for you. According to the news outlet AL.com, a group calling itself White Lives Matter later threatened to use the chair as a toilet if the United Daughters of the Confederacy did not hang a certain banner outside its headquarters. So there comes the ransom claim. The news organization reported that the banner included a quote from Black Liberation Army activist Assata Shakur, who is a wanted murderer. Remember we talked about her?
That's right.
She's on the most wanted list.
That's right.
From the Sarah Wineshake episode.
We celebrated her for Women's History Month.
That's right. And look at the activists are celebrating her too. And someone told me this, rumor has it, she is like the godmother of Tupac. That's why she didn't just pick Shakur out of like, I want to just have the same last name as Tupac in my alias.
I remember they were saying something about it in the comment. I don't know though. I'm not.
It says here she was linked to the New Jersey state. She's one of the 25 most wanted human beings in our country. One of the top 10 maybe. I don't even know. But the rulers of the country have always. This is the quote. The rulers of this country have always considered their property more important than our lives. While they were somber about the legacy of the Confederacy, the group's members adopted a playful tone about the Davis chair's theft in an email. "We took their toy and we don't feel guilty about it. They never play with it anyway," the group said. The news organization reported that the banner included a quote from Assata Shakur. We already have that. While, this is like double printed here. That's why I'm reading it twice. Police obtained a search warrant for the shop and raided it Wednesday. The chair wasn't there, but officers encountered Warnick, who reported that he and Diono owned the shop. Nearby, investigators found a surveillance video that showed a masked woman with a tattoo of a candlestick on her right forearm helping 5 people take the hulking monument out of the shop and load it into the back of a U-Haul van. Police said they determined that's how many people, 5 people it took to lift this fucking thing. And that's like, again, how do you steal something so large? Like, where was it initially? You got to get in there. You got to get a fucking truck. You got to get like a crane and lift it or something. Who knows? 5 people, though, all very hulking, I'd imagine. They have tattoos and such. So, yeah, very strong. Police said that the chair was left at the corner of North Galvez and Feliciana Streets, and someone sent the intersection's GPS coordinates to the United Daughters of the Confederacy. Officers recovered the chair there Thursday morning and arrested the 2 later that day. Both were ordered released from jail on their own reconnaissance, and their attorney said in a statement. Also, their clients have no specific ties to White Lives Matter or any other political activist group. The facts and circumstances that have led to this arrest amount to nothing more than a mistake, albeit an unfortunate one, and we have no doubt that our clients will be proven not guilty. That's tough when you have a 500-pound piece of evidence saying otherwise. You know what I mean? But nevertheless, I'm glad to see that some people are thinking forward about a new way to use these chairs or these monuments and things like that. I mean, this one they were going to turn into a toilet. I don't think that's so bad. Have you seen outside? There's a lot of people shitting in the road. We could use a toilet in the center of like Union Square, something like that. And I think that would then point to the lessons we should learn from these monuments. Like, hey, there's Jefferson Davis's chair. Homeless people shit in that now. You know, maybe it's a statue of one of those dudes on the horses and we can use it as like a glory hole. It's like now that statue gets face fucked by hobos and they all jizz into his throat. I'm just trying to think of multi-purpose uses that we can civically, I don't know, because they're just going to go to waste. All this stone and marble and such, we're just going to throw it in the ocean. What's going to happen to it? I don't know. But here we are. And we've had so many Roach reporters. Again, I have to give a shout out to Benjamin, Tanner, Heath. These gentlemen came up to me, Roach reporters, in the Denver hotel I was staying in. Very nice to see them. And they all had very nice things to say. We already talked about that. Where's my news sheets? I have all these sheets and I get them lost. I'm going to have to think with Sean a better way to do this. Here we are talking about police violence, yes? And now that Derek Chauvin has been found guilty, I'm sure no more cops will shoot unarmed innocent people. I'm sure it's all over with. We're never going to see that happen again. But what's happening around the world? You know, because we have such issues with police here, you know, shooting people and such. What are they doing in the UK? What are the cops there like? Well, 2 police officers were caught kissing for 20 minutes in a car outside a Tesco store. 2 police officers have apologized after they were caught kissing for 20 minutes. They were just making out in a park. Or in a parking lot, excuse me. The incident happened in Blackburn, Lancashire. Sorry, British people, if I got that one wrong. I know some people are like, I said one town and they were like, he's pronouncing that wrong. I'm like, I'm American. What do you fucking want from me? It involved 1 off-duty and 1 on-duty police officer. A witness who filmed part of the incident claimed they saw them kissing for 20 minutes and has criticized their behavior. I mean, again, comparing it to what we have seen here in our country, doesn't sound so bad. A spokesman for the force described it as an isolated incident. I would hope so. The witness claimed their pair was initially in their own cars and pulled up next to each other, talking, but said the female officer then got into the male officer's car. Now, what I'm curious about, it doesn't go into this in the story. Maybe they're married separately, and then they meet up and they make out and stuff like that. I don't mind my police officers taking a little time to make out with each other if that curbs them from then being so peaked and tweaked that they shoot unarmed people. Do you know what I'm saying? I think more of our officers should make out with each other is what I'm getting at. I think this should be an adopted practice amongst municipalities here in our own country. And they should start, that like how they're saying they're going to retrain cops and train them differently and things like that, or they're going to do some diversity thing. I don't know what they're planning on doing. What I'm saying is it would definitely bring the temperature down a bit if the police officers were making out. And I don't care if they're guy making out, do it. You know what I mean? You're not gay? I don't care. This is what you have to do if you want to wear the shield. You better start kissing each other.
You got your ticket quota and you got your kissing quota.
Did you make out with your partner today? Did you put in your 20 minutes of makeout?
You care about our country or not, officer?
Do you want to protect and serve and make out or what? I don't know. I'm just spitballing. That's all. Just spitballing here.
I've never really understood the concern with people kissing in general. I remember on our flight, so me and Nadav went to Florida recently.
Oh yes, this story.
And on our flight back, there was a lady that was like yelling and screaming. She was obviously a Karen. And it turned out that the girl next to me told me that she was upset because two people in front of her were making out. And they actually were like, okay, yeah, we'll move you.
I mean, I've been on many a plane, and I've never given a shit what the people in front of me were doing because I couldn't see them. I get on a plane, and I go to my window seat, and I go in a little ball. I don't want the fucking lady coming up to me being like, do you want a ginger ale? I don't want any of that. Don't talk to me. I go in my little ball. You leave me alone until I get off the plane. I don't bother anybody else. Nothing. But yeah, I don't know. That woman was so irate over that. Now, were they making out like the plane was going down, or were they making out just like cute? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, did you see? You didn't see it, so you don't know. Like, were they just like, you know what I mean? Like, was it pornographic or was it cute?
I don't know. So
but either way, you're like, whatever. Yeah.
But I mean, I could tell you based on her attitude when she was back. I mean, they brought this buff dude who ended up being like the nicest guy ever, but the way that he talked to her was great. He was like, okay, listen, so what you're doing is unreasonable. You're being absolutely not okay, and I will remove you from the plane if you keep doing it. He's like super nice, but he was buff as shit. But it was the way she was talking to him, it was obvious she was just a bitch for no reason. So I imagine they just kissed once.
And I wonder what the people in front of them, like, did you hear him address the people in front of her being like, now we're sorry, but if you could refrain from your public displays of affection, we would appreciate it. Was there anything like that brought to those people?
She came from like the front of the plane. We were like towards the back, so I didn't hear any of it. I was informed by the girl that was next to me because she was like coming in at the time that it happened. But yeah, she was bitching about everything. She ended up getting the girl, her daughter. She was there with her daughter. She ended up getting the daughter to come back, and she took the dude next to her mom's seat, and that dude switched with Nadav.
Oh, so Nadav had to sit next to this woman.
Which is because Nadav had an empty seat next to him.
I bet she was excited about that. She was like, oh, great. Nadav. And then Nadav's like, I don't want to sit next to you either, you fucking dork.
Yeah, nobody...
idiot woman! Idiot woman!
You fair-weathered idiot woman.
I swear, some people are very irate about the kissing in public.
I don't understand.
Their blood boils. I don't know what it is either. But I know some people who are like, they see people kissing and they're like, oh my God, get a room. And you're like, I don't know. I don't care if people are fingering each other in front of me. Like, go at it. I don't care. I'd be like, oh shit, they're getting it. Sometimes I get a little FOMO, I get a little jealous.
Honestly, that's where I've always assumed it spiked from, was jealousy, where they're just like, when you're bitter and you're recently single or something, if you just got out of a bad breakup, it sucks seeing like PDA, but that's it. So like, what, you ain't fucked in like years or something? Is that what this is, old lady? Get over it. Get over yourself.
But I don't know. People are very irate about kissing. I don't care that these cops were kissing. They took 20 minutes. Now people are like, they could have been doing better things with their time. Like what?
Killing people?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what they could have been doing?
Shooting a black guy?
Let them kiss each other. What the fuck?
Exactly. Exactly, Annie. You nailed it on the head.
Now watch this drive.
Classic.
Now, speaking of, we talked at the top about McDonald's and how it ruined my body. I'm never eating it again after that moment. I can't. That was the end for me. I say that and then it'll happen. I'll eat it again. No doubt.
You definitely will.
Yeah, I mean, I say that, but I mean, like, I'm not going to I can't sit there and actively choose it after this moment of violent sickness. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was it was a blast to spend the whole weekend with somebody, but it was, so it was part of it for sure. And I did enjoy, I said the next day, I said, I'm going to call McDonald's and thank them for poisoning you because it made you call in sick for work and we got to hang out all day and watch the Derek Chauvin closing arguments. Just, your typical date, laying in bed watching Derek Chauvin.
Yeah, that's pretty funny that Netflix and chill for you ends in Derek Chauvin defense.
Netflix and the trial of the century. Or the trial of the century in chill.
And chill.
Yeah.
Love it.
But McDonald's has made the headlines here in South Florida because there is a South Florida McDonald's that is now offering $50 just for people to come interview there because they're so short on employees. And I've noticed this. There's employee shortages at all these restaurants now because people were either like quit or like went on unemployment or something like that, and they're not coming back to their jobs. Now, I know a lot of people are looking for jobs, so you're like, hey, this should work out. Apparently, they're aiming a little higher. So McDonald's is like, hey, $50 it's a pretty easy way to earn $50. And say you just want the $50, you don't want the job. It's kind of fun to be able to go into an interview and just clown it the whole time, right?
Definitely. I honestly think, though, that it's a good idea for them because I think anybody who would need $50 that bad probably could use a job at McDonald's.
I would say that's true. And I would say, though, here's the one thing where I rub up against that theory. If a person needs $50 that bad, chances are they don't have the kind of gumption you're looking for in an employee.
As a burger flipper at McDonald's?
I'm saying, like, it's just going to attract more people who aren't really interested in getting ahead in the world, I would imagine.
It's true. But I feel like that type of job usually is one of those where you want, it's
I'll tell you
like
what,
a
though,
forever thing.
as a guy, when I moved to LA, I had to get a job, and I wanted any job. I just wanted to get any job I could possibly get. I applied at not Blockbuster, what the fuck's it called? Target. I applied for. I applied at a Toys R Us, which closed. All the Toys R Us closed, so I get why they didn't hire me. Target didn't hire me. Did an interview with Target. All I'm like, make me a fucking cashier, stock boy. I don't give a shit. I just wanted a job. And I went in, I did an interview, didn't hire me. I went to McDonald's, didn't hire me. And I'm like, what the am I that TikToked? I can't get a job at Target or McDonald's? And somebody then goes, well, let me look at your resume. I show them my resume. They go, yeah, they're going to think that you're trying to leave immediately. And I was like, huh. And they're like, aim slightly higher. And so I was like, okay. So then I got a job at an office. And that worked out. But yeah, McDonald's, they were really picky with me back then. So what are you looking for? Maybe they're looking for the people that are like, I'm just here for that $50. They're like, you're just our caliber.
I really do think so, because it's like you'll essentially that's saying you'll do what you are asked of to get a nominal amount of money.
Let's hear the theory behind McDonald's. Blake Casper, a McDonald's franchise owner in Tampa who is doing this whole deal, says that one of its restaurants is offering $50 to anybody who comes in for an interview. According to him, the general manager and supervisor of the location came up with the idea. Casper had reportedly told his employees to do whatever they needed to do to hire more workers. Get out there and start blowing dudes. All right, we need someone here to drop the fries. Get out there and do whatever it takes. The news outlet reports that as a business reopens after the coronavirus lockdowns, many are hiring new workers. This, along with enhanced unemployment benefits, has reportedly caused a shortage in applicants. Casper described the situation. That's like what every Republican cries about, by the way. They're like, you keep giving them the unemployment money, they ain't going to go back to work. And then you think in your head like, well, what's $1,200 in a stimulus check? I mean, that's not going to last more. They're going to want to work still. But evidently, according to this McDonald's, but no one wants to work at fucking McDonald's. That's the thing. Everyone's probably sitting in coronavirus being like, I need to get my life together. And when I come out of this, I'm going to aim higher. So I bet if you look at like applicants for the Chase Bank CEO job, you'll have a lot of those or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. Something higher up is all I mean. Casper described the situation to Business Insider as a perfect storm, as McDonald's McBusiness is reportedly booming in the area. Customers are flocking to the restaurant, making them busier than ever. But they're also understaffed. You've got a lot of people with a lot of money and they're out there shopping. And then on the flip side, we're scrambling for help. Surprisingly, the $50 offer reportedly hasn't attracted many applicants. Casper did not say, however, that offer or other hiring efforts have worked well, including referral programs, hiring bonuses, and allowing people to apply via text message. That's how low they're going. You can apply via text message. Yo, give me some work. And then they're like, please come on in. What do you want to do? You want to run the place? He also said that he's had to raise starting wages to attract more workers. Well, I would hope so.
That's probably step number one, I would
Yeah,
think.
I think you should have did that before all the other shit. Stop giving them $50 to interview and make minimum wage a normal living wage. You know what I mean? Alas, such round and about ways to go about things in this fucking country. Just raise the fucking minimum wage already. People are trying to aim a little higher, that's all. I mean, shit. Part of me, though, goes like, would you ever work in McDonald's?
I worked at a Starbucks, so I mean, that's pretty close. Well, I worked at a Starbucks kiosk in a Vons, which is as close to McDonald's as it gets. So
I mean, sure, but also, it's almost like you're not really working at Starbucks.
Well, no, it was 100% like I wasn't working at Starbucks. I couldn't get tips. We couldn't do custom drinks. I got no discounts. We were part of the union, so it was like
It's a union, Starbucks union?
No,
or the grocery store.
It's the grocery store because it's technically owned. Yeah, it's not. It is not a Starbucks, so it really does not feel like. It was the worst. But I feel like it's a similar experience to fast food because I mean.
No, for sure it is. I worked in
things.
fast food between the ages of 14 and 16. I went from that to working in radio, so I was like so happy when I got the radio job and making no money. I was like, oh my God, at least I don't have to I don't walk out of here smelling like fryer grease and other horse crap like that.
I don't have to wake up at 4 a.m. to go into a fucking big ass freezer.
Yeah,
take out
exactly.
Pastries and shit. It was the worst.
It's the worst. And so give them a living wage for Christ's sake. All right. Next up, we have a thing where now every time I say my age, people are like, you're that young? Oh my God. Yes, I look like shit. I get it. The world has been hard. It's been a long road, folks. And sorry, I was born in 1986. You want to check my fucking passport? So I'm on the older end of millennials. Now, in this article, it was 10 memorable PSAs that attempted to save Gen X. And thanks to after-school specials that put beloved stars in perilous situations and the Sunday night movie of the week that exposed youngsters to horrific effects of the nuclear apocalypse, Gen X was well-versed in fear. Luckily, television also showed this generation how to stay safe by providing them with a steady stream of powerful public service announcements. Whether it was a mustache dad, an egg in a frying pan, Pee Wee Herman holding a crack vial, these PSAs tried and possibly even succeeded. So I thought, without looking at the list, I would see how many I can truly remember. And Annie, did you take a look at these at all?
Yeah. I watched them to see if I remembered any of them. I think I only remembered one of them.
Now, right off the bat, the first one is like father, like son. This one I don't remember. That
one I didn't remember either. I must have been before my time.
Yeah, that one I don't know what that even means. And I'm already at a loss because I can't even guess. Is it supposed to be like, hey, your father's gay?
It says parents
like father, like son. We have to accept
all
God. Sexualities. Is that what that was about?
No, it sure isn't, Chief.
Okay.
It was parents who use drugs have children who use drugs. You were close.
Okay.
You were close.
I was close. Hey, just taking a stab at her. Stab in the dark. The second one, give a hoot, don't pollute. I do remember that one was an owl. And he was like, don't pollute.
That's right, yeah.
And number 3, this is crack. That was Pee Wee Herman, right?
That's correct.
And he was like, haha, crack is the magic word. Then he was jerking off in a theater and everyone was like, he's a menace. Let him jerk. Now by today's standards, it's like, oh, he wasn't jizzing into a child? Thank God. Let him go. He was just using the porno theater as it should be used. Weird. And it's so funny too. Remember late night television was like, Pee Wee Herman jerking off. That was like their big jokes. Nowadays, they wouldn't even touch it. They would be like, he's a menace. Jimmy Fallon would have to give a statement about how Pee Wee Herman was jerking off in a fucking theater.
I mean, I remember being a kid and us even back then saying that was ridiculous. We're like, why? Like, he's so...
Normal people did.
Yeah, him and...
It's just because he was a kid star. But he was kind of a weird kid star. I mean, my mom, who was very, like, up my ass about, like, she wouldn't let me watch The Simpsons. She wouldn't let me watch, like, just adult stuff. Like, she thought Ren and Stimpy was wrong. I would watch it anyway. She wouldn't fucking know.
I mean, Ren and Stimpy got pretty wild. I'm not gonna lie.
mean, yeah, but then again, so did Pee Wee. My point is, though, so did Pee Wee Herman. And I remember my mom didn't know. It was, like, perplexing to her. She couldn't figure out the depths of it. She was like, is this adult? I can't tell, because she thought Pee Wee Herman... Anything weird. My mom used to say The Office made her uncomfortable. The television show, because they just look at the camera.
Right. I mean, like, that is the point, to be fair. But yeah,
that's exactly right. And then she said Conan was too weird to do The Tonight Show.
Well, your mom has pretty cool opinions.
I know.
I like it.
Trust me.
It.
I don't know how I came out of her body sometimes. To be fair, though, I didn't spend much time in there. I was born very premature. Well, folks, as you know, I am absolutely blind, and also I constantly stare at screens. Not a great combo for my deteriorating vision and what is remaining. But thanks to the fine folks at Blue Blocks, now I have a pair of glasses that is protecting me from blue light damages of my eyes. All the digital eye strain that I have to deal with looking at my phone, at my computer, at my television, because that's all that I do all day, have been mitigated a little bit by the fine folks at Blue Blocks. And now I can get my energy back. I can sleep better. And not only that, they look awesome. I've gotten so many compliments from you out there. Once I started wearing my new glasses, you like them so much better than my old ones, and they're protecting me a lot better than my old ones. And as you can see, they're on my face right now. Very stylish. They have so many different varieties to choose from that you can go through and see which one suits your energy. As you get your energy back, you sleep better and block out all the unhealthy effects of blue light with Blue Blocks. And right now you can get 15% off by going to blueblocks.com/Josh and enter code Josh at checkout. That's BLUBLOX.com/Josh for 15% off, or you can just use the code Josh. Next up, we have C-3PO says no to smoking. I do remember that. C-3PO would be like, my heavens. You know, the gay robot from Star Wars?
I remember him. I did not see this, though.
Yeah, it was just an anti-smoking ad. And that was a big thing. Now anti-smoking ads are like, this is what a fetus looks like when you smoke. And people are like, oh my God. Before it was just celebrities being like, don't smoke. They don't even try to do that anymore because now kids are like, we don't smoke anyway, we vape. And they're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I was waiting for the one, they never mentioned it, but I was waiting for the one where they were like, this is whatever Katie, and this is Katie on marijuana.
I think we have the one where it's like the frying pan one's in here, right? This is your brain on drugs. That's down the list.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I was looking for it. I didn't see it.
The girl from She's All That was in it.
Oh, damn.
I was a little later in life, but I know what you're saying. I love the one. You know which one really fucked me up? And this was later in life. It would be the one where they show like a person high, and then the dog's like, I wish you still spend time with me.
Yeah, that one. I remember.
And I was
those.
like, that's what my dog would be saying to me high. And I'd go then I'd go like cry and pet my dog. I'd be like, I love you, Tucker. I love you. I'm high right now, but I still love you. I'll take you. Let's go for a walk. You want to go for a walk? But if my dad was like that, I'd be like, fuck you, Dad. Grow up. But I thought my dog was sad. So I was like, I have to assure him. So, number 5, kids bring more than lunch to school. Is that about guns?
It says, unexpected things kids were bringing to school, including bruises, drugs, and teen pregnancy.
Bruises? Oh, because they were getting beat up by their parents, probably?
They're fighting. Oh, could be.
Yeah,
maybe?
Physical abuse. So I wonder what was that even pointing out to? Just keep your eyes peeled, teachers? Or adults? Or other kids?
I feel like it
Narc
was...
on your fellow classmates.
I think it was to parents to saying like check your kids' bags and clothes and
Fuck
like
that.
check everything, you know.
This one, Captain America, I knew this one. Conserve energy. It was about like turning lights off and shit like that. My mom was big on, but it wasn't about conserving energy. It was about conserving the electric bill.
Mm-hmm.
I've had it up my ass all my life. Like turn off the light, turn on, like when you leave a room and stuff like that. And now it's in me to the point where I feel like my mother when my roommate is being out of pocket. I'm like, this guy just leaves a fucking light on while he's... Who raised you? This is your brain on drugs. We already talked about that one. That's where they go, this is your brain, and it's an egg, and then they smash it and put it in a frying pan. This is your brain on drugs. Who saw that and went like, man, I'm going to not do drugs now. I saw that and I was like, sounds cool. So my brain is just like, I want that. Fry me up, baby. That didn't turn me off is all I meant to say.
Yeah, none of the anti-drug campaigns when I was a kid made me not want to do drugs.
They clearly
were
didn't
very
work
bad.
on me. DARE program, yeah.
I remember the DARE. Yeah, they gave out those magazines. They made the drugs look like candy.
I remember
thinking, like, that's so cool. The multicolored ones.
I was talking to my
those.
friend about this the other day. The DARE program would bring in weed, but it wouldn't even look like weed today. It would be like weeds. You know what I mean? Like it would be trash.
They
like it
brought
would be
in, like, grass.
garbage. Yeah, it'd be like garbage weed. And you're like, that's not what weed looks like right now. You know what I mean?
You're like,
you get some
hold
real.
on, I got you.
Hey, officer, you got some real shit there. You want to show him some dank ass stuff? Talk to my boy Gilly. Only you can prevent forest fires. That was a huge one with the bear, Smokey the Bear.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Drinking and driving can kill a friendship. Well, I think it could kill more than that. I don't remember that one. It's probably short-lived because they were like, you're aiming a little shallow on that one. And finally, She-Ra and He-Man talk about bad touches. Now, that one must have been fun. I didn't see that one, but I'm sure it's about like, I don't know, what's a bad touch, I wonder. They're probably winky face good touches, but He-Man and She-Ra were trying to be like, don't touch in the no-no place. And they demonstrated on each other. I don't know. That one I never saw. That's a wild one. So those, if you out there are a member of Gen X, maybe we took a bit of a stroll down memory lane. But none of those worked on me. Obviously, I'm a scumbag and a loser, so
I remember
they all failed.
I remember the only one that even like made me think twice was when they did, I don't know if they did this at your school, but did they bring the crunched car?
Oh, yes. The drinking and driving thing. I mean, I was saying this as a man who was arrested with a DUI in my youth, but the drinking and driving thing always stuck out in my head. And I always thought I was being responsible until I got arrested. Then I was like, oh, so like any amount can get you fucking arrested. You know what I mean? I thought I was like, I'm having a responsible amount of drinks tonight. And I got a 0.09, you know, and I'm like, man, I barely drank. And so I learned my lesson that way, unfortunately. But yes, the crunched cars. I was always fearful of driving and riding with people who are, now I just actually don't. Now I'm like, it's on them. You know what I mean? Like if the person who's driving is drunk, I'm like, like I've never been like, unless they're falling down or something. That's never really happened though. You know, where I've had a.
Wait, you mean even if it's your friend?
Like if my friend was like falling around or something like that, wasted, and then he was like, all right, let's drive. I wouldn't get in the car with him.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be like a police officer and be like, how many of you had tonight? Before we get into the car.
Maybe
you know
not,
what I mean?
Maybe not like that, but what if he had like, I don't know, let's say he had six beers and he's like, he's fine, but
I'm not
he's
counting it. That's the
glaze.
problem. I'm not counting it.
All right, well let's just say you know the man's drunk, but
I'll
he
be
ain't
like, are you
stumbling.
cool to drive?
And if I'm just like, yeah, man, I'm fine, relax.
I would trust. I don't know. I think I would trust it.
Oh shit.
I'm bad though. I'm bad though. That's me. I'm
you can't
bad.
do that, man.
I know. I guess I'm bad. But speaking of drugs, just a few weeks ago, back on, I don't remember how many episodes ago this was, we talked about a story of a doctor who was murdering patients with cocaine on his penis, putting it on their lipstick, putting it in their drinks, things like that. And I got a little feedback here from Love. That's who wrote this in, Love. They said, been loving this wild podcast. Actually, want to weigh in on the cocaine doctor penis overdose situation. Because I was curious, because maybe or maybe not, at some point in my life, have I put cocaine on my penis and had a girl do a line off it? Maybe. Or a bump off it. I'm not going to say I'm big enough for a line. But, so, I mean, naturally, this thing perked my ears up. But we found out he was doing it deliberately, trying to harm them, it turns out. Last year, this says in this feedback, last year I was in central Mexico working on a film, and last day I was there, the locals had a party for us. So naturally, I bought a bunch of A1 Perico for the occasion. We had a blast, and the next day I was left with a few measly bumps of powder. In our group, there was a ragtag Aussie who requested that I give him a tiny bit that he could save for the next time he had sex. He claimed that the coquina would numb his penis during intercourse so that he could last longer. I told him, fuck no. If you want to put it in your nose, that's fine, but I'm not with that weird shit. Wasteful. Now, love. I don't know that it's weird, but again, not the best use of cocaine as you mentioned. You know?
I mean, I don't know if it works.
Just get a Roman swipe already, Jesus. I don't even have them as a sponsor, but I mean, there's ways that you can fucking have a few beers or something to make you last longer. The last longer thing, it seems like so much easier to accomplish than what I'm dealing with, you know what I mean? Which is I want to last less time. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So I never kind of prescribe to those things. Like, this man's going through immense things to get his dick to last longer. It's like, just fucking, I don't know. Say the national anthem or something. I don't fucking know, dude.
Just think about dead dogs like the rest of us.
Think about baseball or something. Dead dogs, dude. Dead dogs.
Double bag it?
Yeah, double bag it, triple bag it.
Well, then what's the point of even doing
Add a
it?
couple layers.
No. Nadab.
You saying condoms?
I'm saying instead of cocaine.
Condoms?
Yeah.
Condoms, he's saying. He's saying
that.
dude,
Oh, right.
more
You know,
condoms.
That's ridiculous.
Isn't it?
If you multiply my condoms times 3, guess what, nigga? Still 0. It doesn't
No
work.
condoms. We don't do condoms.
Nah.
You want me to not get a boner, Nadav? Jesus. No condoms. What are we talking about?
What, you want me to think about fucking safety before I fuck? Okay. All right.
Double bag it. That's actually worse. Do you know that? If you put 2 condoms on or more, that's worse because the condoms then have friction and they'll break.
Ooh, look at you being unsafe, Nadav.
No, but I mean, what about, like, it's... I think it's cheaper and probably a better method than cocaine. I think it's probably safer. That's probably
All right.
a more efficient way to get it.
You prescribe to that sort of line of thinking.
I don't...
I think I would rather the cocaine over the condoms.
Same.
And I'm not down with wasting it. Like Love said in the email here. What are some other feedbacks we have here from Frankie? The dynamic between you and Chase is so great. It's like Satan and a church girl have a talk. Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad I'm Satan, Frankie. Please make a shirt with Josh shotgunning the beer saying, it's this and queefs. Okay, maybe we'll do that. I don't know. That was, I did shotgun a beer. Well, it was a seltzer. We didn't have any beers in cans, unfortunately.
I was pretty upset I wasn't there for that. That would have been fun.
It was fun. Thomas Rogers writes, I will miss any, but it's assuring to know Josh has already recruited another inner city black with a lack of sports knowledge, as we discussed. Yes, I am also reassured by that. Conan writes, from episode 1, I've been hooked and can't wait for every Tuesday to hear the new episodes. Well, thank you, and I hope, Conan, you subscribe to the new YouTube channel. Let's see, this one's kind of long. This one from John. I was just listening to your latest step where you were talking about the hockey coach sounding gay. I don't remember that necessarily.
That was I think he was Canadian, and he was, he just had like some very basic innuendos.
Oh, that's right, where he was talking about fucking, and she's like, we're banging and banging.
Mm-hmm.
So him and his wife play a game apparently called Gayer Sports. She doesn't like sports, and sometimes when she's on her phone or something, she'll comment on how gay some of the commentary is. If you separate the commentary from your knowledge of sports, it gets wild. Examples, he's got such a powerful body, but a real soft touch on the inside. Oh, no, sure. I mean, listen, we're in that kind of mode right now in the NFL because we just had the combine. They're doing college players are doing pro days as we get ready for the draft. They talk about players' bubbles, which means their ass. Nice bubble on that player. Like that. Wild.
Wait, so it's like, it's not even like it just sounds gay.
It's like a meat market. It's like a meat market. They're like, look at that build. You know, that kind of thing. It's fucking weird.
But he's straight up commenting on his ass? That's like a normal thing in sports?
In football at this time frame, scouts and coaches use the term bubble, meaning like, because it's supposed to be like, show how like their acceleration or something like that, because they got the glutes, they can fucking power through. I don't fucking know, dude. But we're gonna get into some draft stuff here in a little bit because the draft is approaching. It's 2 days away, and I can't wait. We're gonna hold off on that though, but let's get into sports, shall we? Falling Water Sound with that remix right there. Thank you, buddy. And now, if we didn't have enough evidence showing us that Twitter does not represent most of the world's opinions on things, We've got another one here. And if you do prescribe to the thought that Twitter and the outrage on it is the opinion of most of the world, maybe this will change your mind as to who the people on Twitter are and how dumb they fucking are, including myself. This one involves a bit of a catfish story. Now, I went down a wormhole with this thing. It is a long, sort of wild thing that occurred here in Los Angeles that I was unaware of because basketball is my distant fourth as far as sports goes. I don't really follow what's going on. I try to follow some of the storylines or whatever. But for the most part, I'm out of the loop. I'm not in the know. Apparently, the Lakers had a super fan named Vivian Flores. And she had a podcast about the Lakers. She was a big Lakers fan. She was huge on Lakers Twitter. And she was just this hot girl who knew all about the Lakers, big Lakers fan, who also claimed she had cancer. So there's that. Anywho, as time went on, recently, over the weekend, it was pointed out that she had gone missing. Vivian had gone missing. There was a DM, and this led down an entire wormhole and led us to find out that maybe Vivian's not a real person. And just like any catfish, the signs are there. I mean, the photoshopped bullshit pictures, the fact that so many people fell for this is kind of alarming. Now that it's come out, and I didn't know it, I'm glad I didn't fall for it, or even like, but at the end of the day, you look at it, you're like, look at how many dopes fell for this, including like Ice Cube's kid, O'Shea Jackson Jr. He was like tweeting about it like, we got to help Vivian. You know, the Lakers organization was duped by this. But look at these pictures. I mean, none of them have her with anybody. Their face, do you have the one where she's like in the Lakers arena where it's like, that's completely photoshopped. There's no fucking way. But it's just a wild story. And I wondered, like, I've never been catfished because I watched the show, or maybe because I don't know, because so many of you out there I've never met. So when I see the DMs and stuff like that, I can tell when it's like a fake person and when it's a real person. Am I just more inclined to figure those things out? Here we go. There's the one on the right, or on the left there, excuse me, all the way to the right. Like, doesn't that look ridiculous? Unreal. And people are like, that's her, there's Vivian. So basically we don't know who was doing the catfishing. Was it her podcast partner, or was it another person in their circle? We're not sure yet, because it seems like her podcast partner was duped the whole time too. So it's like she was doing a podcast with a guy, or whoever was catfishing was doing a podcast with a guy who duped him. But many people are saying that this guy, Josh Trusant, might be behind it. But that's her podcast partner, and he seems pretty duped in himself. They're like, here's Josh. He's a real person. He's not fake, blah, blah, blah. But it's just wild to me that the Lakers organization, actors, people within the Laker community all were falling for this for the whole time. Like, she was like a prominent Laker fan. And turns out she's like, so maybe it just got out of hand, and the person who was doing the catfishing was like, this is too far, I've got to end it. So they did this whole like she's missing thing, and then she came back to Twitter, and then she deleted her account. What is that we're looking at?
This is just his explanation that her partner, him explaining that it was not him, and he was also a part of who was duped. And I agree. I can't believe people fell for it that long.
These are excuses that he gave on why he couldn't tell.
On why he didn't know this whole time that he was doing it with a fake person.
Basically, this man admitted, I'm a fucking idiot. And Ice Cube's kid, what are you doing, dude? If I'm Ice Cube, I'm like yelling at I'm smacking my kid around. Like, how are you so fucking dumb, bro? Big old catfish going on. So I thought that was interesting, and I had to watch Kevin Clancy, KFC's 1 Minute Man on this because it was such a fucking sewer of nonsense, and you were like, what is going on? And it turns out like so much of Twitter was engorged in this and fell for this that you're like, these are the people that corporations are looking to in order for to have opinions, and we're going to like base our hirings and firings off the opinions of Twitter. These people who can't even discern a Photoshop. Pretty wild. Makes you wonder if they're going to start changing their tune on those types of things. Now this story I found interesting. The headline reads, "Yet another death at a notorious California skydiving center, bringing the total to 22 since 1981. Now, without getting into the details about this San Joaquin County skydiving school, we know that since 1981, that's when they opened, they've had 22 deaths. Now, why are people still fucking going there? That's all I'm curious about. If they had 15 deaths, would you be like, I'm going to that? Why don't you just pick a different one that has none? You know?
I mean, I would consider it similar to the Cecil Hotel situation where people probably just didn't know that until they become a part of that statistic.
I mean, if you Google the school, the deaths are going to show up, and there's a lot of them apparently.
Like for me, if I heard that, I would just be like, oh, well, you know, I mean, I heard that it does happen, so it is super rare.
And so what I'll say to you and the 22 that died, you deserved it.
Shit.
You brought it on yourself. A simple Google, and then maybe you just go to a different place, maybe go up north or something as opposed to over here. I don't know. It's just like if I'm Googling a skydiving school, I'm going to see how many people died at it.
Yeah, that's going to be a statistic you're going to look up first?
Yeah.
Who died here?
100%.
Really?
If there's a gnarly reports being like the 20th person, the 21st person, now the 22nd person, who's still going to this fucking school?
Hold on. So let me ask you this. So let's just, I mean, I'll look it up in a bit if you want, but let's just say there's 50 people that died at Disneyland last year.
Okay.
Or, I don't know, say 20. Are
if
you
they
now
all
not
died on
going
the
there?
teacups, I'm not going on them.
You're not going on the teacups now?
No.
Because people died on it?
Yeah.
Well, let me give you some information. People died on every fucking amusement park ride that you've been on.
Of course, but the numbers aren't staggering, and especially when it comes to a fucking...
22 is staggering from 1981?
I mean, out of how many? I think that's a lot.
Is it?
For skydiving, it's enough. It's enough to go like, maybe they don't pack them that great here, the chutes, you know? It's just enough to make me go, maybe there's a place with less deaths I can Google. That's all.
All right. Well, I guess I would die and you would live. Fair enough.
That's just my...
survival of the fittest,
When I read this story, I just go, yet another death. It goes, yet another death. Yet another. So therefore, I go, that's his fault for going to this fucking school. This guy is a fucking idiot.
Idiot!
He's a fair-weathered idiot.
But it is my Christmas, folks. And it is NFL draft season. And people shit on me all the time. They're like, you watch the fucking draft? Yeah, I watch every second of it. Okay? And I watch through the late rounds. I turn it on in the background Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and watch all of it. Thursday night primetime first round coming up this week. And I thought, just like in the beginning stages of this whole thing, back in the day when we had any guess which quarterbacks will have the most passing yards.
Yes, I believe I was 3 for 10.
That's right. I picked the top 5 QB prospects. Now, some people will be like, where's Kellen Mond? Well, this is just the what's the word? Like the common top 5. You know what I mean? The most common. I just went based off of like what people are projecting in other mocks and stuff like that. So we have Trevor Lawrence. We have Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Nance, and we have Mac Jones. Now, with the draft approaching, it's also the time of the season where the media will raise red flags about potential draft picks. So they're trying, it's basically like the media is just attempting to ruin the future of these players. And sometimes it's weird tweets. Trevor Lawrence, we'll get into it as we go along here. So I'll tell you what the red flag is that I see in these fellas. Maybe because I'm a part of the media, I can poke holes in their draft stock as well. But I'll tell you what their red flag was that the media is positioning out there. And one of them doesn't have one so far, other than just like, he hasn't played much. And it's like, okay. But I wanted to find out from any where he guesses like which ones will be drafted in order here. Because these are a lot of these guys, first round draft picks, probably a couple of them maybe second round. But what's the order in which they will be taken? Now, you and I know, if you follow the draft, there is a clear number 1. But any hopefully has no fucking idea.
I sure don't, Chief. And I love my favorite part of your email to me about this is please don't do any research on this.
Like you would.
I want to make sure. Yeah, my favorite part. Like I would never fucking do read.
Just in case.
Literally the morning of our show when you told me to watch that Tiger Woods documentary.
Yeah.
That's when I watched the show.
Amazing.
Because that's procrastination, baby, at its finest. But so you want me to basically rank these who I think is the best?
Not the well.
Going to be the best.
I mean, who's going to be taken? Because again, this is the draft, so it's like first overall, second overall, but like just the order in which these gentlemen will be selected. So like, which one will be taken first through fifth?
Yeah, doesn't that mean who I think? Like,
I guess. Yeah, I guess. Sure.
Like has the most value. Okay.
Yeah.
So first.
So where do you go first?
It's got to be.
I'll tell you about it.
It's got to be. Oh boy. Which nigga's gonna get picked first? Let's see. It's gonna have to be. I'm gonna go with Trey Lance because he looks like he could beat up Justin Fields.
Now Trey Lance has not the reason his picture is different on here is because he didn't start many games, so ESPN didn't have his PNG, and so I had to grab another picture.
Wait a minute. These are today's pictures?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I thought you grabbed like fucking high school pics of these dudes.
No, they are coming out of college. They are young as fuck.
Whoa. Okay.
This is like right now. Yeah, they're getting drafted on Thursday.
Into the NFL.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Exactly.
How old are they? Like 20?
They could range from 21 to 24. I don't exactly know the ages of all these gents, but this is
they're young.
This is what they look like. Yeah, they're young as fuck.
All right. Okay.
That's what makes it kind of, as you get older, it makes the media look gross that they're trying to like ruin their fucking lives. But Trey Lance hasn't started much, and he hasn't a lot of tape on him, so people are saying, there's not a lot there to scout on. So he had a couple extra pro days, and now he's kind of shot up the charts. Like Justin Fields kind of dropped down. I won't get into the rest of them where he ranks because it'll ruin our prognostications here. But Trey Lance, I will tell you, I am a backwards hat man today. There's a little red flag about Trey Lance for me.
Uh-oh.
He is dating Colin Cowherd's daughter. That is the rumor.
Bias.
That is the rumor on the streets. Now, can we pull up Liv Cowherd, who, by the way, maybe the one good thing that Colin has done in his life was create Liv Cowherd, who is perennially
Queef of the Week.
Ooh, a little repeater there, a little squeep, and then a little backdraft coming out of it. That one from Seth and Mariah, is it? I can't.
Yeah, that was Mariah.
And Seth, excuse me. There's Liv Cowherd. So Trey Lance is reportedly rocking that. Now, here's the shitty part. Now, Trey Lance can't, if he does a press conference with a backwards hat, he's fucked. I mean, do you think he's having dinners at the Cowherd household and they're like, now when you go out there for your post-game pressers, you better have that hat forward. Otherwise, you can't fuck my daughter anymore. It's just alarming to me. So, Trey Lance, okay, you have him as number one. That's interesting. Let's see what else you have. Who's next? Who's number two for you?
Let me pull this back up real quick.
Word.
Number two has to be the good old boy, who must be everyone's favorite. It's got to be this Zach Wilson fucking... It's got to be this ear-to-ear smile Zach Wilson-ass motherfucker.
Now, I will say there are some mocks that have Zach Wilson at number two, so you might very well might get that one right. Some of them have him at number three in terms of these quarterbacks that I have listed here. So that one very well might be spot on. Now, does it change your opinion that he is Mormon?
Nah, it makes sense.
It makes sense. What does that mean?
Yeah, he just looks so damn together. It's so like.
And that
one
makes you think
thing.
he'll perform better as a quarterback.
Yeah, because it's so one-dimensional. You know what I mean? Like, so there's nothing that's going to distract him. He knows exactly what he wants to do.
There was a Mormon quarterback named Steve Young, by the way, who is a Hall of Famer and Super Bowl winner. So who knows? Zach Young could follow in his. This is the first highly touted quarterback to come out of BYU, the Mormon school, in quite some time. So we'll see. That one could very well, according to scouts, you are spot on with that one. Who do you have at number three?
Number three's got to be the dude who looks like he would have been my friend in school, Homeboy smoking that. He's on that 420 life. Trevor Lawrence.
That's what you see with
Number
Trevor
3.
Lawrence. When I see, can you Google other pics of Trevor Lawrence?
Can do.
Because Trevor Lawrence to me just screams bust. I don't know why. Is it because he looks like a hot chick? Like if I were to see him quickly, I'd be like, "Who's that?" And then I'd be like, "Oh, Josh, you're blind. That's a guy." Like, doesn't he just look wildly like a chick in somebody? Like that one right there.
Oh, he does.
You put a filter on that? You put a filter on that and you're like, dude's a chick. But no, I mean, like, he's obviously the, so I'll say this. You put him at number 3. He is the heavy number 1 favorite. Like, he is definitely getting drafted number 1 overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars, to the point where he's already donated to Jacksonville charities.
Damn.
I mean, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that he's getting taken with the number 1 overall pick. And recently, they're trying to poke holes in his draft stock or say that he's a bust. Good God. And
This dude look like Jesus.
right? Maybe he will be for the folks in Jacksonville. But they're trying to poke holes in his stock because he recently had an article come out where he told, I think it was ESPN, that he, or it was Sports Illustrated or something, that he doesn't need football in his life to be fulfilled. So people are like, whoa, well, then I don't want him on my fucking team. So I find that wild that story is becoming a thing. So you had him at number 3. Let me write down here what you have here. You did Trey Lance. Then you put at number 2, Zach Wilson, which very well could be correct. Number 3, Trevor Lawrence, which we pretty much know is not going to happen because that one, like I said, foregone conclusion pretty much, unless some wild shit happens that no one's expecting. But he's projected to go number 1 overall. So who do you have at 4 there, pal, out of the 5?
At 4, it's rough, man. Jones and Fields both look like they've been doing some sus shit for a long time.
And you know what? You are, the Justin Fields hate out there is wild. So you're kind of on par with the scouts. Justin Fields, of course, from the Ohio State University, and many quarterbacks over the last, 20 years, since Terrell Pryor and back in the day, none of them have panned out. So everyone just assumes Justin Fields is going to be another Ohio State bust. But who do you put ahead of who?
I'm going to have to, just in today's social climate, my boy Fields probably going to go first. He's probably going to go first. And then Jones would be last. I think, oh man, I almost want to Oreo it and do Jones then Fields. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, you know what? I scratched that. It's going to be Jones 4th, Fields on the 5th. That's what we're going to do.
Mac Jones and then Fields. Okay,
Yes.
So like I said, many scouts are like shit. Like Justin Fields has that potential to be that guy, like we've talked about, where he gets there, and he was like earlier in the year, he was projected number 2 overall, right behind Trevor Lawrence. It was Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. People were even debating, like, is Justin Fields better than Trevor Lawrence? Now the conversation has drifted where it's like Zach Wilson has crept up into the number 2 spot. Trey Lance has crept up into the number 3 spot, perhaps by Justin Fields. So people are, and Mac Jones has even crept up there. So people are shuffling Justin Fields throughout the order in their predictions. So you're not wrong about being kind of, I don't know what to do with him. Do you know what I'm saying? And here's where the media is further trying to fuck Justin Fields. A story just came out about him having to discuss with NFL, because NFL teams have these stupid interviews with the players where they ask insane questions. Like, let me see. I have to look one of these up here. The most insane questions NFL teams ask.
All right, what's your favorite pizza topping?
I mean, I wish it was that innocuous. Hold on one second.
You mean like what world issue do you want to resolve?
Here we go. Here we go. Let me pull up this article here because this has a litany of them. So some of them are just offensive and downright ignorant. Like, here's one. Do you find your mother attractive?
Holy shit.
Yeah. Do you like men?
Wow. Straight up?
Do you like men? I'll tell you the backstory of that. I've been asked a lot of weird questions. I don't know if I could say on TV. This is Eli Apple of the New York Giants. I think he's on the Giants now. I don't remember where Eli Apple went, but he was only drafted a couple of years ago. And he said, I've been asked A lot of weird questions. The Falcons coach, one of the coaches was like, so do you like men? It was the first thing he asked me. It was weird. I was just like, no. He goes, if you're going to come to Atlanta, sometimes that's how it is around here. You're going to have to get used to it. I guess he was joking, but they just ask the most of these questions to see how you're going to react. So they kind of they're throwing things at him to see how they're going to react. Now, here's another one. When did you lose your virginity? This was asked of defensive end Obum Guacum, I think is how you pronounce his name. When did you lose your virginity? He did not answer that question.
Right. Okay. I was about to say, and are you expected to answer all of these?
They're just looking to see how you react.
Oh, so they just want to react. Okay. So this is it's a segment of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 4. Now this one, if they asked any of this, he would have probably punched the coaches in the room and been arrested, and his draft stock would have fallen.
Oh boy.
Is your mother a prostitute? No, my mother is not a prostitute, Des Bryant told Yahoo Sports. I got mad. I got really mad, but didn't show it. I got a lot of questions like that. Does she still do drugs? I sat and answered all of them. Isn't that wild?
Wait, so he got mad because it was somewhat maybe true?
Well, his mom was a little out of pocket, so they were like, what's up with your mom? She a fucking whore? What's going on?
See, that's different. The only reason I wouldn't get mad at that is because no one would have said that about my mom.
This is a fun one. They didn't cite who was asked of this question. What's your murder weapon of choice?
Oh my God.
A scout asked that at the combine. A scout asked me at the combine, if I had to murder someone, what would I use, a gun or a knife?
Wow. What would be your answer?
Depends who it is. And
right. It depends. The reason is very important.
Yeah, because if it's someone who like really did me wrong, I would want to put that knife in their stomach, and then I'd be like, "You fucked with the wrong guy," as they were losing the life in their eyes. If it was just an indiscriminate one where I didn't know the person and I would feel guilt, I would want to shoot them so I would just get it over with.
Yeah, just on the street, just any Kravitz motherfucker, bop, and we out.
Some of them are more playful, obviously, but don't really have anything to do with football. Like this one, would you rather be a cat or a dog? Western Michigan offensive tackle Willie Beavers said to the Falcons asking a lot of these questions, by the way. This was back in 2016. Cam Newton was asked the same question in 2011 and brilliantly answered, I see myself more as a human being.
Wow, brilliant.
Right?
Just a non-answer? I mean, that's for sure what I would do at any of these.
Listen to this
They would all be non-answers.
Here's another one. Where are you sitting on a bus speeding on a mountain?
Where are you sitting on a bus?
You're not getting drafted.
Speeding down a mountain?
Yes.
I'm in the car next to it laughing. I don't... What?
You're on a mountain. It says you're on a mountain in Alaska on a bus going 100 miles per hour. Where are you sitting on the bus?
Certainly not the back. Shout out to Rosa Parks, my nigga. Let's go.
That would have been a fun answer. What are you saying? Here's where does the sun rise and where does it set? That was asked of Njoku back in when he got drafted. And there are some NFL players, I forget who it was. Was it Jared Goff on Hard Knocks who didn't know the answer to that question? Because I don't know why that question comes up. Maybe it's just like shows your sensibilities. But Jared Goff didn't know. He goes, it always rises in the east? They're like, yeah. And he's like, wow. And this is a man who graduated from like college. Number 9, would you share your...
So the answer to that is that the sun rises in the west, right?
Yeah. Did I say east?
No, I was...
Or no, it rises in the east and sets in the west.
You said it correctly. I was confirming your answer.
Don't fuck with me about that. It rises in the east and sets in the west. Right, Chris? Right?
Yes or no? Yes.
Thank you, Jesus. He had me doubting myself.
We out here, baby. Let's go.
God, he had me doubting myself. Baylor offensive tackle was asked, would you share your internet history with us? Number 10, what color is chocolate? Boxers or briefs was asked of a gentleman one time. These are all the things that they ask in the interviews. So what I was getting at was these interviews are wild and they get crazy. And in one of the interviews, Justin Fields expressed that he has been dealing with epilepsy. And now this is a big story. And they're like, oh, we're going to take a seizure quarterback? A couple bright lights and he's just having a seizure? So, Ryan Day, the Ohio State coach, had to come out and be like, no, he's fine. Like he manages it, and we've never had a health issue or a concern about him whatsoever. So it's just so dumb that this guy is going to lose maybe potentially millions of dollars depending on where he gets taken because of the dumb reports and these stupid questions. What kind of fish are you? I would need to get stoned to do one of these fucking interviews. But yeah, it's all about testing to see where they're going to fall or how they're going to deal with it or how they're going to get, maybe like Des Bryant, maybe they thought if they were shitting on his mom enough, they would incite a violent reaction out of him. I don't know.
Right. I guess I get it. It's almost it's preparing you for being in the camera, because that is the type of
that's true
dumb
too
shit that's out there, and what they're gonna fuck with you on in the field, for
yeah,
sure.
How do you handle
taking meds today, you epileptic ass mother,
Now there you go.
Got a flashlight, you scared,
That's a good point, because they are going to have to deal with the trash talk. Like Des Bryant would have to deal with cornerbacks talking shit about his mom. So it's like, how is he going to handle that? That's a good point, actually. So maybe it's not so. I'd love to have a NFL scout on to justify or to give me sort of the inside scoop on these meetings. Maybe someday I'll be able to achieve that down the road. But this is where Any has decided they will go. And even though we're going to move along into our new space and do our show on our new YouTube channel, we will have access to Any. Does Sean have your contact info?
Believe it or not, yes.
Yeah.
He does have my phone number. So call me at any time.
So yes, we will, because this is happening on Thursday, and we will see the results as they play out, and then we will have Any on to discuss them and give him the results, because I don't think you're watching it on Thursday night, right?
Probably not. Yeah.
Probably.
What channel do
not.
you watch that on? I
actually don't. It's on the NFL Network, and it's on, I think, ESPN, but I'm going to illegally stream it, of course.
My boy.
What's up? But that does it for our show today. Thank you so much for joining us, and I do hope you continue along on the adventure to the new YouTube channel, which can be found in the description here, as it has been for the past few episodes. Again, it takes you 2 seconds to click on it. It takes you 2 seconds to subscribe, and while that is a meaningless amount of time in your world, it means a world of a difference to me. And it's going to be, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that as long as I'm here and you're here, we should be all good. John Otto will be here. The Queefs will be here. So pleased to be subscribing to the new YouTube channel. And if you want to give some feedback or send in a Roach report, you can always email the new email address, which is joshpottershow@gmail.com. It's just joshpottershow@gmail.com. Brand new email. Send your feedback, send your queefs, send your musical remixes, send your articles, whatever you want to send. Pleased to be sending it there for, going forward. Other than that, friend, as I mentioned, shows are coming up. I hope I see you out and about. May 6th through 8th, San Diego. May 13th, Omaha, Nebraska. June 9th, Tampa, Florida. June 10th, Orlando, Florida. All can be found on my Instagram at Josh_Potter or my Twitter at J_Potter. Just click the link tree in my bio and it has all the lists for the tickets there. And you can also subscribe to the YouTube channel there. You can also subscribe to my Twitch there. However you want to go about it, all the information is up there for you. I want to say thank you to everybody here. Chris, Zolo, Nadav, Any, of course, Zane even, who we've only had once on the show, but hey, want to thank him because you guys are all fantastic at what you do. I'm going to miss you all tremendously.
We love you, man.
I love you too, and I'm looking forward to the future. But I'm never going to forget this, and I'm honored to have been a part of it. Thank you to Tom and Christina for giving me this launch point, and I hope I see you all on the other side. Thank you for joining me once again here on the Josh Potter Show, and we will see you next Tuesday.